Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, pimps and simps, welcome to the Mac Life. Today's a new sort of video, something that I don't often do, and it's essentially been inspired by the fact that I wanted to get out more content today, and I had some important message to speak on. However, we didn't have the normal setup, so I'm just filming it like this, and it would be under the business training / success stories playlist. So if this is a sort of video you like, there's a lot more videos like this, but today's video is the best possible advice I could give for young men, almost a cheat sheet for life, how to get everything you've always wanted. Now, if you're an older guy watching this, or you consider yourself older, 30s, 40s, 50s, not that I feel that's old anymore, but this doesn't discriminate from you. You should 100% be watching this as well. You should never stop applying these things, and it's never too late to start. However, just the earlier you start, the better. So, you don't need to compare yourself against anyone else, but I feel this would have helped me. So I titled it that way because it's clickbait, but I titled it this way because it's advice that I've found that's helped me the most, that I've just learned through trial and error. And I wish someone told me this when I was a younger man and I could have applied it. Hopefully this video sits around as a standpoint in time, more so than anything. The reason I'm filming this video today, there's no agenda. I'm not selling a course. I'm not selling a program. There's no push. It's just real advice, and I hope that it stands the test of time and helps some people out there. Even if I help one person with this video, I've done my job. So as well as this, if you're a girl watching this, I know 25% of my audience are ladies watching this. Shouldn't click off this either, because this video is the sort of way you would want a man to be in your life. You would, and you'll 100% agree with me when you hear in the way in which that I describe this in a second. But if you have a boyfriend currently, you should be motivating them to do all these things. You should be pushing them on to do these things. If you're looking for a man, you should be looking for these qualities in a man, because when you're with weak men, they're a stain on society. Honestly, people who don't progress with self-development are just a stain. They're just oxygen wasters. And I know that sounds, critical and harsh, but it's a matter of fact. Okay, it is a matter of fact. So let's get into this. The very first thing, I wrote down everything and I tried to write it in a chronological order of what I feel would be the most applicable for you step by step as a young man. But what I'll start with, because there is the most important thing come to me at the end, which I realized, which is the search for all of this. But before that, okay, let me tell you what I believe success is, because success for me, success for everyone is going to be different. But I believe we all share some of the same intrinsic motivators. Everyone wants to have good health. Everyone wants to be financially secure and financially free. Everyone wants freedom of movement. You don't want to be pigeonholed into a box where a boss is yelling at you every single day, telling you how to dress, how to speak, how to act. Every single day I can dress how I want. I can sit here naked if I want. And I'm still going to make just as much money, probably more because of this physique. Okay? I'm just playing, but essentially what the conquest or the search for success is, when you actually break it down, I wrote down all these things. It is just the conquest for more power. And it's just the pursuit of power, because people have put such a negative connotation around power that it's a power play in itself. By people doing this and taking the power from others, it allows them to be more powerful. By them telling you not to focus on gaining power and not trying to get powerful, okay, that's a power play in itself, whether they know it or not. Sometimes the power plays that we make are subconscious, but all of life is an expression of power, and you would want to be the most powerful thing you could be. You essentially want to be as powerful as possible, because power allows you to do the things that you want to do, and it allows you to be a good person. You can't be a good person if you're not powerful. If you're broke, okay, you're weak, you get stood over by people, you're not confident in the way you speak, you're not confident enough to support your own claims and your own beliefs, and you have no power, you're not a good person. How can you defend others who are weak? How can you defend others who are in need? How can you help people who are in need? How can you bring people up? How can you inspire? How can you motivate? You can't. You simply can't. So to say that I don't play power games is just a cop-out. It's just a way for you to say, I'm weak, I'm gonna remain weak, and I hope that no one picks on me. I hope that the more powerful people don't take advantage of me. And there'll always be people out there who will take advantage of you. By becoming more powerful as well, it allows you to protect yourself. So today's video, when I think about it, really is how can I build you up to all be more powerful people? And I can't just give out random advice. So all I can do is give what worked for me, because I'm a smaller built dude. I was built as a small dude. Okay, my dad's a short dude. Unfortunately, I'm not short. Like, I'm an average height, 5'10". but I'm not a fucking tall dude by any means. I'm definitely not a big built guy. So I'm a smaller dude, okay? And already, you know, there's a natural pecking order by size, whether you think there is or not, and whether you say, yeah, but martial arts can help. I can only help a percentage, okay? There's a natural pecking order to life. So I was built small. I was built in a poor family, okay? We were lower middle class. I used to have to walk to school, like to save money because I was too embarrassed to ask my mum for more money. So I used to walk like legitimately sometimes 10 Ks if I would walk the full route instead of catching one bus halfway. Now I was born poor, I was born small. And what I realized very quickly is it's hard to get ahead, and you see other people progressing ahead. They become more popular. They go to more places, so they get more experience. They can eat, like honestly, you can just eat more. You can do all these things that I couldn't do because I was poor. So very quickly, I learned the importance of money, and I learned the importance of capital as a leverage tool. And so the very first thing that I understand when I look at becoming powerful and becoming successful is money. In today's age, money is the number one thing that you should be focused on acquiring. It doesn't matter if you're a big, stocky, 6'4" built warrior sort of man. I can hire 6 of you to stand around me and protect me at all times. I can hire 10 dudes with guns to be around at all times and protect me. Money acquires power very, very fast because you can leverage other people's time. You can leverage labor from other people. You can leverage other people's skills in exchange for money. In the past, it was all about, you know, the most powerful men were warriors, kings. They were people who had proven themselves in combat. They were people who had proven themselves in all different means, or they were powerful. They were respected and known as, you know, blacksmiths or woodworkers or whatever it was. They were craftsmen, okay? Maybe they were well known because of the fact that they gave out and they helped and they did certain things. They were commendable people. But in today's world, power comes from money. And especially with the way the legal system is set up, you don't understand that 90% of the laws, when you look at the laws in today's society, the consequence for breaking them is financial loss. Okay, that keeps people, you should understand that if they're saying that the way society is structured in the way in which you can live is that by you doing anything wrong, we punish you by taking money, you should really look and say, then how important is money? If 99% of the laws in society are about taking money, except for the big ones like murder, rape, all these crazy things, if it's about taking money, okay, you need to look and reflect and think, well, how powerful is money? It is extremely powerful, extremely, extremely powerful. And there are echelons to echelons of money. Now, I'm obviously still at the very, very bottom echelon when it comes to money. I look at people who have acquired hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars. I am inconsequential. They could remove me off the face of the earth like this. No problem. There are certain other strategies that you can use to acquire and put power into your court that don't require money, but money should be the number one thing. And so when we start with money, money's actually not the first step. It's our mindset, because a lot of people that listen and hear this, you'll think, oh, money is not number one thing. It's about family. It's about love. It's about building these things. And these are power plays that people have put into your head to keep you poor. Because money is so powerful, people have made these colloquialisms that you have just repeated from your parents and grandparents and have been built down into you to keep you suppressed. Money is extremely powerful, extremely, extremely powerful. You know, if me and you say you have essentially no money, you work a 9-to-5 job, and the goal is that out of each of us, okay, the person who's awarded the most power, let's just say there was an award for it, the person who's awarded the most power, and they get all the spoils of whatever you want to put that as, money, cars, fame, whatever it is. And we have a weird task. Let's say the task is to go and learn a language, a complex language like, I don't know, Czechoslovakian or something weird, or Croatian or whatever it is, okay? I have money, you don't. You work a 9-to-5 job, you're stuck, you're relying on that. You only have the hours that are available to you to go ahead and try and complete this task, because your focus is on working hard and acquiring these small amounts of money that just keep you alive. Me, I already have a large amount of capital. So I fly to Croatia, okay? I fly there because you can't afford to fly there. I'm not saying you can't, this is just the hypothetical, but I fly there, you can't fly there. I pay for a teacher. Me and the teacher, we work 7 hours a day together, and then I have a secondary teacher for an hour who can verify and test against all these things. And whilst there, I'm enjoying myself at the same time. I'm eating steak dinners, I'm going out and chilling with Croatians, and you're trying to squeeze in this very hard, suppressed few hours to compete with me for power, and I'll explain how this all comes relevant soon. You know, in your spare hours between work, Who do you think is going to succeed in this journey? And now you're saying, oh, but that's a hypothetical random situation that doesn't make sense, but it does. All of these weird skills and attributes actually add to power, and they add a compounding effect. And I'll explain what the other attributes are in a minute. But the more of these that you can acquire, okay, the quicker you can become more powerful and do good with power. So you have to understand that money is probably the most powerful tool you can leverage to speed up the process of everything else. So your primary focus should be on, how do I acquire more money? Now, I obviously have programs and I have things, but I said this video isn't about trying to pitch you a video. It doesn't end with me saying, so join this or join that, okay? This is just legitimately me laying down the frameworks as if I'm talking to myself as a young man. If I was looking at myself as a 21-year-old boy, I'd be like, sit down, shut the fuck up and listen to what I have to say, because this will put you in a wildly different position to a lot of men. And I feel that I have some element of experience to talk on this, not just because of the fact that I've built myself to what I feel is definitely more powerful than what I was, but when I compare myself to people who started in the same position or even in slightly elevated positions, I'm more powerful than all of them. So let me continue on. The very first thing is your mindset, and it's mindset around money. It's mindset around breaking down beliefs that limit you. If a belief does not serve you, you should not have it. Oh, money isn't that important. I'm a lover. We should live modestly. That doesn't serve you to gain power. And I want you to reframe every single belief in your head, because you have to understand, if what I'm saying is true and you believe any of this, then you have to understand that power is the thing that you 100% most should acquire in life. And I'm hoping I'm making this very clear. Power is the 100% thing that you need to be focused on acquiring. So if anything that I'm saying is true, okay, you need to be focused on accumulating power. It's very, very simple. That's all it needs to be. That is your number one objective, is accumulating power. So when you have any beliefs, what is that dog doing? Just going spastic. When you have any belief, you have to ask this question. Does this belief serve in making me more powerful, or does it subtract from making me powerful? Which answer do you get when you ask that question? If it's subtract, you need to change your belief, or at least question it and ask, why do I believe in this belief? If power is the root of all good and my ability to become the best version of myself, help others do good, why do I carry this belief? So let's move on. Mindset is the number one thing, and you need to question every belief you have that subtracts from you gaining power. Power is the number one thing you should be gaining. The second thing is money, because money is simply a leverage tool that we can use to gain more power. Simply the fact that and the next thing I'll explain in a second, by using money, I could outcompete you on this as well. So the next thing, okay, and this one contests with money, because you can get there without money, but money can acquire you this very, very quickly. And people who have this, okay, can still be more powerful than people with money. And that is people with a following, people with an audience, people with a brand, people with a cult, people with an army behind them. And all that is popularity. All that is building a following. In today's world, we just call it a following like it's normal. But in the past, that was to build influence. Your ability to influence people to join your cause. Your ability to influence people to like you. Popularity, fame. And fame is the quickest way that you can also reverse it and get, okay, capital. If you're known by 1 million people and 1 million people love you, how easy do you think it would be to make $1 million? It's very, very simple to make $1 million. You don't even have to be a great businessman or woman. You can make a lot of money very, very quickly. The inverse is also true, but not to that extent. If you have a lot of capital, you can become famous a lot quicker, okay, than someone with no capital. Someone with no capital has to do tremendous things in order to get known. You have to perform crazy acts, or you have to be willing to sacrifice large periods of time and volume to get there. Whereas someone like myself, who has acquired money first, I can leverage money to run ads so that whether people like me or not, they see me every single day. And even if 1 in 10 people like me, if I'm seen by 1,000 people a day, there's 100 new followers I'm gaining a day. There's 100 new people who have at least organically seen me and in some way connect with me. So let's refresh the list, because I want to keep this concise for you. The very first thing you should be focused on is mindset, okay? Your mindset, and believing the fact that acquiring power is the best thing for you in your life. The second thing, okay, is money. You should be focused on acquiring money, because it's a tool that you can leverage to speed up the process of everything else, every other skill. The third is fame. You should be focused on building an audience, building a cult following of people. And not just for the fact that you have followers that you can monetize, but people who come to your aid, people who defend you, people who you can count on, lawyers, accountants, you can call on nutritionists, you can call on experts in different fields who will come and aid you simply because of the fact that you have fame. You have an element of perceived value in society. Now we have these next things are harder to give concrete examples on how you should go about doing them because there is a multitude of different ways and it changes day to day on how you should do them. But they need to be done. And the next thing is to build yourself, okay? Build your body. You need to build your body, okay? The mind is great, but it is par on par with the body, the yin, the yang. If the body fails completely, there is no point having a great mind because none of this matters. And there's no point having a great mind if you don't have a body that can carry you through, okay? If you have the cleverest mind in the world, but yet you can't do basic things such as walk, and this isn't to shout out for people with disabilities who have been in accidents or born that way, but this is to say people who have let their health fail over time. If you have focused so heavily on the mind that you neglect the body, what good is being the smartest person or the richest person in the world anyway? Okay, the body is the tool in which we get to navigate this existence. And the short time that we have here on this planet, you must respect the body, take care of the body. Okay, it's very, very important that you take care of the body. Now, the next thing that goes along with that is experiences. Powerful men are experienced men. They have been through things. Let me give you an example, okay? If we were to go on a safari and the car flips and we're trapped inside the car and 3 lions start surrounding the car and they're going to maul us and they're trying to work a way in, would you rather be with a group of dudes who have sat around playing video games all day, screaming, panicking, they haven't built up anything else, they have no one they can call on, no one they can rely on? Or would you rather be in the car with the dude who said, oh, we flipped, don't worry, this happened to me twice in fucking Zimbabwe. I don't even know if Zimbabwe has lions, but let's imagine Zimbabwe has the worst Zimbabwean lions that live on the planet. And he says, don't worry, I've been in this situation with way bigger lions in Zimbabwe. We got this covered. Let me get out my fucking phone. I'm going to call on some people that I know in the area. They're going to come, they're going to handle this. Okay, and that may be a very extreme example, but people of power are people of experience. Okay, instead of being I've always wanted to go to Dubai. It's great. You'd love it. Okay, I've been a few times. Oh shit. I've always wanted to try scuba diving. It's great. Okay, just make sure you acclimate properly when you come up. Fuck, you've done that too. I'd always love to try jiu-jitsu and learn how to defend myself. Okay, that's great. Yeah, I've done it. I'm at this stage. I've done it for 6 years. I can show you. You want to be a person who is experienced in a range of different things. Now, this is the fun part of life. You get to choose what those things are. You get to choose what those experiences are. But money will be a catalyst for gaining experiences. And this is the part that makes you look like a superhuman very, very quick in your early life. When I speak to people and they say, you've been here, you've been there, how do you manage to do all that? Well, I have money, I have the ability to travel, I have freedom. Oh, wow. What, you speak another language? And this isn't a flex by any means, guys. There are people who are my age that have achieved a lot more than me. This is just to say, these are certain power tools that you can gain. Oh, you speak other languages? Holy shit, when did you have the time to do that? I leverage money, okay? I leverage money to buy back my time, and then I used money to further gain experiences. This is what makes you powerful. Imagine, for example, I speak Russian, you don't speak Russian. Russia decides to invade Australia. You're here in Australia with me. 2 dudes come in with guns, and they're fucking yelling at us to stay still, sit the fuck down, sit, they're telling us to sit, okay? You speak no Russian, you panic, you don't know what they're saying. And I'm telling them, no, it's all good, everything's fine. I can at least communicate in a small way. I can start to persuade and influence and work my way in, okay? Who do you think's the more powerful person? And it's simply because of the fact that I've gained experiences. And like I said, this is the most exciting part about life. Focusing on leveraging fame and money, okay, and then getting to choose the experiences that you want to gain. You get to choose what you want to become experienced in, but you need to start gaining experiences. If you're sitting around in your house all day, okay, you're not gaining experiences. Video games especially will subtract. And people say, video games but video games can be good. Yes, but they take up most people's time. There's nothing wrong with playing a game occasionally. Sit down with your friends, have fun, do it, make it productive. But don't let it become a daily thing where it's 5-6 hours subtracting. Think how much things you could have achieved in that time to grow and experience and become a better version of yourself. And then finally, I would say the last thing, okay, or the last 2 things for men that I have found is building a level of combat experience, and I'm not, I'm not a professional MMA fighter. So I can't, and I'm not a professional fucking army veteran. So there are different levels to combat. But I would say the reason that I recommend doing some sort of combat training, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, boxing, whatever it is and actually more so than being able to physically defend yourself, which is obviously a great trait, it allows you to have the confidence to support your own claims, to support your own voice. I see a lot of people with great minds, and as soon as a little bit of argument starts, a bit of conflict, say a bogan tells them, oh, no, that's not fucking right. They won't even stand up for their own beliefs because it's cowardice. They're scared. They know that it could elevate into physical conflict, so they shy away from even speaking their mind. And this is the main thing. This is why I say, a powerful man isn't someone who speaks up and then as soon as someone tells them or opposes against them, they quiver away. And a way to combat that very quickly is to gain combat experience, because of the fact that even doing jiu-jitsu, right? You realize, what's the worst case that could happen if they disagree with me? It goes all the way to the point where we start throwing hands and maybe they wrestle with me. Very worst case, they're going to pull out a weapon, but that's an extreme. But you start to look like worst case, I could probably handle myself there. That's going to be fine. And you gain confidence in yourself to speak up and speak out. That's power, okay? You look at Nelson Mandela, you look at these great leaders, even while people were telling them, suppressing them, okay, threatening them with horrible actions against them, like you speak up, this is going to happen. There they are, confident enough to speak out. And the way in which you can cheat your way to doing that, because this is a cheat sheet, is by gaining some sort of combat experience or combat training. And then the very last thing, remember, you can't grow without some element of stress. There is a stress scale, and we learnt this, okay? I studied health science at university. I have a health science degree. And you can simply look at a muscle, takes place like this, but so does everything in life. Here's the stress scale. Imagine the middle is what we call, okay, just baseline level of stress. This is where nothing changes, nothing occurs, right? Then we have down the bottom, which most people don't know this word, is called eustress, okay? EU stress. You should look it up. And it essentially means that there is such little stress placed that what happens is we actually diminish, we actually wither away. If you don't practice speaking at all, if you never spoke to anyone and you sat inside your house playing video games for 100 years, by the end of the 100 years, imagine how horrible you would be able, imagine how poorly you would be able to conversate with people. Imagine how ill-equipped you would be to have a debate with someone, because you've been so down here on the stress scale of even speaking. Okay, if you did the same thing, you did nothing, you sat inside your house all day and never worked out, your muscles would actually wither away because they have no stress. Now, this level of stress is where people sit, but people actually stack on and move into this layer of stress as well. It's almost a disgusting balance. You're stuck on this end of the scale and then fluctuate highly to this end of the scale, and you're never in the healthy range, which is just a little bit above here, which I'll explain. So we have eustress, we have normal stress, and then we have distress. Now, you've probably heard the word distress. Distress is when we're in such a panic that we're unable to perform, okay? Our arousal state is so highly jacked up that we're unable to perform. So imagine like you're working as a waiter, the chef's screaming at you, the customers are screaming at you, and you just get so worked up to the point where you're in such a distress that your performance actually declines, okay? There's a loss of performance. So you want to, okay, build yourself to a level where you have a healthy stress level, which is just above, okay, or as much as you can take above stress, but not in a distress level. Because once we move to this state here, what happens is our stress scale actually becomes bigger. Our ability, and only on this side, our ability to handle more things without becoming distressed increases. And that makes you extremely powerful. When shit goes down and you don't go into panic mode, okay, and you don't go into straight, panic, you hear this in every scenario. Snake bites you. What do? You don't panic. You'll die. A lot of people panic themselves to death in situations. Their panic is what kills them. And so you essentially want to build your stress level. And there are different ways in which you can do this. But the best way to do this is to actually inverse this and take away the things that put you in distress. Because you can't start working and adding on stresses in your life, healthy stresses, if you're in a constant state of distress and eustress. If you go to work, it's super stressful, you hate your life, you hate your job, and then afterwards you come home, you sit in your room, you escape from reality and play video games. In this period of time, you're in eustress, you're gaining no skills, you're actually withering away, and you're weakening your ability. You're moving further up this scale, which means you can't handle as much stress. Anything outside of that is going to stress you more and more. And then you go to work and you have a horrible time, okay, and you're in distress. there's nothing happening. You're just withering down to the eustress scale. It's further and further and further and deeper and deeper and deeper. And that is a subtraction of power, okay? That is a simple subtraction of power. Sorry, champs, I had one of my other aunties pull up just to drop off some stuff and say, hey, I've got such a massive family with like 4 little cousins in there. She got my 2 little twin cousins. They're cute. Anyway, what I was saying is about the distress scale. So essentially, you can't start moving towards the healthy stress level until you've removed, because you put yourself in such eustress by being in such distress. It's kind of a weird scale to understand, but I think I explained it nicely before, where you understand that when you're constantly in escapism mode, okay, everything starts to seem stressful. You go to work, and before, you used to be able to handle a lot, but then all of a sudden, you know, it only takes one girl, Brittany fucking says something and da-da-da-da-da, and then you're in mass stress mode again. And that's because you continuously weaken yourself. And you're like, yeah, well, everyone online's telling me I need to be able to handle stress if I want to be successful. Yes, but they say that, but they don't understand the scale behind it. It's easy for them to do it because they've actually mitigated most of their stresses. So I'm going to give you the easiest hack in the world. And this is the hardest thing to do at the same time, but it's also the world's best thing to do. And all you're doing is get an 80-20 analysis, get a piece of paper, a blank notebook, get a piece of paper, okay, a pen, and write down in a list, okay, 5 things, okay, 5 things. And I guarantee you, this is going to remove 99% of stress from your life. It's absolutely insane. You should do this maybe once every 6 months. Write down, number 1, 80-20 analysis. What 20% of things in my life is actually causing 80% of the stress? And if you say money, it's not money, because most things are not, money won't fix. You'll continue to stay on that scale. If you're saying, oh yeah, but if I had money, I wouldn't have to work a job and I wouldn't have to do this and I wouldn't have to listen to my boss. You have to understand you're speaking out of a place of eustress. Okay, so say, what stresses me out is, get to the deep cause, is the fact that I don't feel respected because I'm working, I'm 29 now and I'm still working in fucking KFC and I barely make enough money to pay rent and I don't have any time, okay? So what stresses you out is the fact that you don't have skills, okay, that allow you to, and then break it down, be free. You don't have the freedom that you want, okay? So then, what is that cat doing? Then all you have to ask yourself is, what one action can I take, what 20% action can I take that's gonna bring me 80% more freedom? And these shouldn't be easy things to answer, they should be quite hard. But in fact, most of these are actually very baseline things. They're like, 90% of your stress is not coming from a conversation that you should have had, that you didn't have. It's coming from, you've let your friends disrespect you and you feel like, you know, none of your friends respect you because you're too scared to speak up and tell them, okay? And there's a lot of things. And so what happens is, these very small things are very, very big things. And if you just say, I'm gonna just tick off one of these a day or even one a week, you'll massively remove all the stress from your life. You'll be comfortable. You'll find that your distress levels decrease. You're back in a healthy range of stress, which is already working in your favor. And then you can start to act and add in other stresses, other things that are going to push you. Because you have to look at them by how accessible they are to diminish. As Jordan Peterson says, scale back the dragons. If you're saying the biggest stressor in my life is that, you know, I have to go to work and I don't have the freedom that I want and da-da-da. That's a very hard one to combat. That is going to take quite a lot of time to build expertise, build yourself to be free. What other ones that can we subtract so that we're at least in operational mode, that then we can chisel down that dragon? That's what you need to ask yourself. So maybe it's, you know, you come home, you've worked your 8 hours or your 10 hours and you're trying to support your family and you have your girlfriend or your partner nagging at you, telling you, oh, you need to spend more time at home, but you're barely making enough money to survive. So you shut yourself off and you play video games and you drink wherever you can. This is someone who's all the way down the rabbit hole. Scale back the dragon and say, well, what's the biggest stresses? Number 1, I'm waking up hungover. I'm already in a fucking compromised state. Cut out alcohol, gone, easy, done, do it. And if you're making an excuse for what I need to cope, you don't. Okay, it's actually hindering you. Just be smart. You don't need to, people act off emotions. Be strategic. And the best thing about being strategic is you can change to becoming strategic at any time. You could be 56 and be like, fuck it, you know what? I'm gonna just start becoming strategic. I can understand I haven't been strategic my whole life. I've made poor choices. But the most strategic thing to do right now would be like, okay, I'm gonna let none of that hold me back and just start being strategic. And all of a sudden you're a strategic person. It's the easiest thing in the world to adopt. Most people don't want to do it because they haven't adopted that mindset from an early age. Just look at what's available to you and then act on it. Okay, I'm going to remove alcohol. What's next? Okay, video games, I'm really just hiding from the fact that I'm scared about my job and I'm not making enough money to get through. I'm going to utilize that time instead of playing games to start building a side hustle. I know it's going to be shit, but I'm also going to reward myself, so then I'll feel good. Instead of doing 5 hours of video games when I'm home, I'm going to work for 4 hours and then play an hour of video games to reward myself, or 4 and 2, or whatever fucking way you want to schedule it that feels like a reward to you. Then all of a sudden, you'll realize these other problems start to diminish because you're actually building yourself. You're not as stressed. That nagging's not killing you as much. And then you look and you say, hold up, this is a stressor. And then you put off the conversation that you need to have. Okay, you say, listen, I don't tolerate the way that you're speaking to me, that disrespect. Okay, we're meant to be in a partnership. Maybe you have a partner. I don't tolerate the disrespect. I'm working on myself. I'm working hard. I'm providing. I'm supporting the family. And I'm working on the side for us to build up. You're either on the team, in the boat, or get out of the boat and I'm going on my own. Very, very simple, okay? Very, very simple. You're either in the team, on the boat, we're rowing together, or you're on your own. We're in separate boats. Very, very simple. And people will make things, yeah, but I have kids, yeah, but I have that. You're saying, how does that serve you? Remember the baseline question. If you stay the way you are now, is that adding or subtracting to your power? If you're taking away from your power, okay, you're going to end up worse off anyway. So you're not helping your kids by staying there. I hear this excuse so many times. Oh, I hate my life, but I hate my partner, I hate this, but you know, I have kids, so I'm trying to do the right thing by them. That's not the right thing by your kids. It's not. If you're not happy, if you're not successful, if you're not enjoying, if you're not building yourself up and you're diminishing each day rather than becoming powerful, how can your kids respect you? How can you raise kids to become powerful if you're not powerful? How can you be a model? How can you be an example? If you're in a bad position, understand that yes, your previous actions may have put you in that position, okay, and they may have been bad choices, but from this moment on, you're strategic. So, with all that being said, you know, you can see I get into this, I get emotional because I hear a lot of people in struggle, and I really hope that this is the kicker you need to be like, you know what, I might not even like the Mac life. I clicked on this video, this dude seems arrogant as fuck, I hate him. But even if you hate me and you apply some of this and it benefits you in any way and your life gets better, my job's done. I'm very happy that I've been able to help you out. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I don't ask you to subscribe. I don't care if you subscribe. But if you found today's video valuable and you found it enjoyable and you know someone who you think this could serve, and maybe this message, you know, this would speak clear and help them more, send it to a friend. Send it to 5 friends. So that's all I ask. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Baka.